All right, welcome back. Today we are going to cover some basic introductory information about SolidWorks. We're going to start with just a open drawing here, and we're going to kind of work our way through some of the menu items. Most of the menu items that I will cover will be in videos down the road, but I just want to cover the basics and some important things about the menu today. All right, so let's get started. First thing you're going to do, you click on that SolidWorks icon and it's going to bring up a window that looks like this. There will be another window that pops up that asks you what you want to make, a part, an assembly, and so forth. You'd probably pick part. Doesn't matter, it's still going to bring you back to this screen. You notice the top looks very familiar. You have a new if you want to create something new. You can click down, you can do an assembly, you can make a drawing. You have open if you want to open things. There's where your file is. This is kind of no-brainer if you've seen this before. Most of the stuff too here, like tools, are also in the tab menu. A lot of these commands are also in the tab menu. So most of this stuff, probably 90% of it, you can access with your tab menu. Now let's go through the tab menu real quick. You have your features. So when you create a sketch, after you create a sketch, you can add features to it. You have your sketch menu. This is where you start. This is where you're going to do your circles, your lines, your whatever you want. This is where it starts. And you have some other features to go along with that. You also have what I like, this evaluate tab. I use this quite often, and the thing that I probably use the most is the measure command, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. On the left side, you have your tree of whatever drawing that you're creating. Three very important things here are our planes. When you sketch, you have to sketch on a plane, and this gives us the three basic ones centered at an origin. I'll kind of give an example on that in just a minute. Underneath this will be a tree of what you're actually doing, your sketches and your features. I'll show you the view menu once we have something up here. And then on the right-hand side, there's some library stuff in here. You can go pick parts and whatever, which is kind of useful. But what we use mostly is our appearance tab, where you can add color or texture to your drawing. So we can talk about that at a later date also. All right, let me just get that out of the way. I'll bring that out later. All right, so let's just do some real elementary things here to show you some of the menu items. Whenever you start a sketch, you have to pick a plane. You're required to sketch on a plane. Now, it's very important what plane you pick when you start a drawing. You pick your plane based on maybe the easiest way to draw it. You know, if you're drawing something that it's all going to be from the front and working backwards or frontwards, then we would pick the front plane, and same thing for the top and the right. I like to kind of look at the big picture, and if I'm going to do an assembly, I like to pick the plane that's going to best fit my assembly together. And you'll see that in the videos coming up when I create a blink camera. But for this little demo, I'm going to pick the front plane. So that pops up on the screen, and then I'm going to hit sketch. Now I'm able to sketch on this particular plane. And again, you have to have a plane to sketch on. One of the most important things is that it identifies the origin. I like to center my drawings around the origin. Some people make this maybe the corner of their part. That's fine too, however you want to do it. But you always want to remember where that origin is, because again, if you're going to do an assembly with multiple parts, that plays in down the road. Let's look at a couple of the tools. I can draw a circle, and again, I'm just going to put it around here. I can dimension that. You always want to put dimensions in right away. I'm just going to put 3 in there, big deal. You have some options for rectangles. You can do a rectangle from corner to corner. You can do it from center. You can do a 3-point. You can do actually a parallelogram. I like the center rectangle, mainly because, let me pick it, mainly because I can use the origin. Oops, let's grab that again. Mainly I can use the origin, draw my rectangle however I want it. All right, and of course you can also dimension that with your smart dimension. Having trouble clicking here today. Yeah, I'll make that 5, big deal. All right. So you can add dimensions to it also. Those are probably two of the bigger ones we use. Obviously, the most we use here is the line tool. Line tool will give you a straight line in any direction that you choose and any distance that you want. You can also smart dimension that if you would like. Spline, which is another tool that we use a lot. If you don't have a straight line and you want to do instead a curved line, you can kind of see, oh, we'll wrap it around here, however you want to do it. When you're done, nice thing about that tool is it gives you these little lines. You can go in and you can adjust how you maybe want that to work or to look. Okay, you can change angles and so forth. It's kind of tedious, but it works pretty well, and I'll give you another example a little bit later. We can also do in Sketch slots, ellipses, we can do polygons, we can add text, we can add fillets. Some other things that are on the Sketch tab, this is the one that I probably use more than anything else maybe, is the trim entity. You can trim in different ways. Usually I use the power trim. All you have to do is hold down the left mouse button and drag it over what you want to delete, and it deletes it for you. So for example, I just want to have the triangle here. So I'm just going to go over everything except the outside rectangle, sorry. And now I'm going to go over to features and kind of do some stuff with that. One thing I'm going to explain to you also in a later video is offset entities. Saves an enormous amount of time if you know how to use that. All right, so now I got a rectangle. I'm going to go over to features. I want to give it some depth. I want to give it some 3D. So if I click extrude a boss, remember I'm on a front plane. My sketch is on a front plane. And it always it's always going to extrude towards you. So I personally don't like that. I like to reverse it so that this surface here is still my front plane. Again, completely up to you. I can change the depth using the arrow keys. I can change the depth to whatever I want using the arrow here, or I can just go in there and say I want 2 inches, and it will give me a 2-inch depth. I hit the green check mark, and there's my box. Very simple. Okay. Again, if you look over here, this is important. This is my tree. There's my sketch that I created for that box, and then there's my extrusion. If I want to at any time change either of those features, I can right-click on Sketch, go up to Edit Sketch. There shows me my dimension. Let's say, I made that 5. I need to make it 4. I just take it to 4, and you can see it shortened it up. Oh no, you know what? Really, I want that at 3. Okay, I come up, exit my sketch. I still kept the same depth, but now I only have a 3-inch block. I can do the same thing if I right-click on the Boss Extrude and go up and Edit Feature. I can go in and change any of that I want. Now, I only want it at 1-inch depth. I hit the check, and there's the 1-inch. Okay. We're going to go through most of these features in the upcoming videos, so I'm not going to go through a lot of them now. I do want to do one thing. I said I like to use the fillets and the features rather than the sketch. So I can add a fillet. I'm going to just do it to this corner. I'm going to do this for an example. And that's a 0.1, I don't know, let's make it a 0.5. Notice I have full preview on, and that's a good feature because it actually gives me a picture of what it's going to look like. Matter of fact, I'm going to do the top 2, so I'm going to click that edge. Shows me it on both. I hit OK. And then there's a little fillet on top of that rectangle. All right, so very easy part. Nothing really to it. Again, I'm going to go over a lot of these features in upcoming videos. But I want to show you the View menu. Now, I like to use a mouse because it's very easy to manipulate my drawing. I can look at any, or my 3D model, I can look at any side that I want. I can bring up any side, but a lot of people like using a mouse. That's fine too. I think you're crazy, but whatever. If you click the View Orientation button, it gives you this menu, which is great. Here you can just click on any particular view that you may want to look at. and it will bring it up. You can go back to your original, also your original isometric. If you click this button here, and it actually gives you a couple other options. You can do an isometric, a diametric, or a trimetric. Whatever's your fancy. I'm going to go back to isometric. Now, the reason I put those fillets in is I wanted to show you the display style. You can display this in 5 different ways. Now, it is the default, but it has these lines in there. Now, there's no surface change. It just tells you where maybe the radii stopped for the fillet. But if I go to that view, you can see it gives you a nice smooth surface. So in the end, this is kind of the view that you want now with all those extra lines in there. But you can also go to just a wired view. You can go to a wire view with hidden lines, or you can just go straight up skeletal view. All right. Okay, one more thing. I'm going to go back to the original view here, and I'm going to show you this later, but I just want to show you how you can throw in color real quick. I'm going to pretend this is plastic and it's medium gloss, and you can see all the different colors. Now, when I bring that over and I drop it on, it gives me the option. Do I just want it on that surface? Do I want it on the boss, on that feature entirely, which would not include the fillets? Do I want it on the entire body, the part? Okay, usually depending, and I'll show you examples later, if I just go if I just go the entire part, it colors the whole thing. We'll get into more of that detail later. But what I want to do now, I want to show you what we're going to be creating in the subsequent videos. We're going to be doing a blink camera. This blink camera is made up of 3 different parts: the base, the camera itself, and then the wire, or the plug. So over the course of the next 6 videos, we're going to construct each one of these, and then in the end, assemble them all together. Doing so should cover most, if not all, of the features in this tab and the sketch features in that tab. And that's the goal, to show you as many of the features as possible. All right, on to the next video.